Don't let GLP-1 stop you from eating enough food. Hi, I'm Nico, nutrition coach on tirzepatide, and in this video, I'm going to go over how I eat when I'm not hungry. For the most part, low appetite on a GLP-1 is pretty common. The issue is when it gets too low, we might eat a lot less food, which can lead to really fast weight loss. Losing weight feels nice, and losing weight fast feels even nicer, but it comes at a cost. These costs would be an increased chance of muscle loss, hair loss, potentially more loose skin, and weight rebound. I know most of the time, losing weight too fast isn't intentional, it's just how we respond to the meds itself and our current dose. So how fast is too fast? To me, it's above 1% of body weight per week. Here's a chart I use to show how much weight I aim to lose per week, which is 0.5% to 1% of body weight per week. A lot of people say lose 1 or 2 pounds per week, and there's nothing wrong with that, but I like to use a percentage-based approach because it's relative to a person's body weight. If it so happens to be 1 to 2 pounds, then that's great. And a quick example of why I like this approach: let's say a 300-pound person is told to lose 1 pound per week, and their goal weight is 150 pounds. They would have to spend 150 weeks losing weight. If they lost at 1% per week, that's 3 pounds per week, which is a lot more. This means they'll hit their goal weight faster while not going too fast that it's unhealthy. Okay, so if too low of an appetite is one of the main issues that causes fast weight loss, what do I do to prevent it? I have 2 ways. It's reduce my GLP-1 dose, and I manage my low appetite, or in other words, how to eat when I'm not hungry. Let's cover reducing my GLP-1 dose first. This is the most important one because a lot of low appetite issues can be fixed by just doing this. And on top of that, other things like side effects going down can also get fixed. Everyone's experience on the meds is different, so I'll go over when I consider reducing my dose and when I keep it the same. I reduce my meds when I can't eat enough to get in my calories or nutrients. And how do I know if I can't eat enough? Some people count calories as a way to see, and that's a great way to tell. I personally don't count calories anymore. I used to, but I switched over to counting food portions. So for me, I know I'm not eating enough when I struggle with hitting my daily protein goals. Next, I consider reducing my meds when I have too many side effects. In my case, nausea. Some people have to deal with things like vomiting or really low energy, both of which I believe can be managed with food, but that's besides the point. And if you're dealing with either not being able to eat enough or can't handle side effects, talk to your doctor before adjusting your dose. Okay, if I can manage my side effects and I can eat enough food, then I stay at my current dose because it's probably the right dose for me. This brings us to the next way I prevent fast weight loss, and that's how I eat on a low appetite or when I'm not hungry. Eating on a low appetite can be hard because I might feel like I'm forcing myself to eat, so I have to have ways to make it easier for me to get in my calories. The first thing I do is I eat food in a certain order. It's protein first, then carbs and fats, then veggies, and then hydration last. I eat foods in this order because I want to make sure I get in as many calories as possible while of course still losing weight. Reminder, I'm doing this to prevent rapid weight loss and the issues that come with it. Okay, so I eat protein first because it helps prevent muscle loss. If I eat other nutrients or foods before protein, then I might get too full to hit my daily protein goals. Plus, I don't want to force myself to eat protein or any food really. Next is carbs and fats because they tend to be higher calorie foods and macronutrients. And since getting calories in general is the priority, then eating these foods with carbs and fats is a good idea. Even though fats have higher calories, try to be careful and not eat too much, mostly because they can cause nausea for some people like me, especially things like fried foods. But if you're okay with eating fatty foods, then this isn't an issue. Moving on to vegetables, I personally don't eat a lot of vegetables when I have a low appetite, and sometimes I just skip it. The reason why is because they're high volume foods, meaning they can have a lot of water content and fiber. This fills up my stomach and makes digesting food slower than it already is. Obviously, vegetables are healthy because they have a lot of fiber, but on low appetite days, I'd rather eat food with calories and a good amount of macronutrients, which are, again, protein, fats, and carbs. And last is hydration. This means calorie-free drinks like water. What I do is I sip between bites and drink between meals. What does this mean? This is similar to vegetables where if I have too much, it fills up my stomach and I can't eat enough of other foods. So I'll sip on my drink between bites if I need to, but if I'm going to take an actual drink of my beverage, I'll do it after I'm done eating. And here's a picture to give you an example. I have the chicken first, and then the rice, and then the veggies last. But again, I usually skip out on the veggies if my appetite's low. Okay, now the next thing I do in a low appetite is I have less solid foods and more liquid calories. Liquids digest faster than solids. For example, if I have a bunch of chicken for my protein, it might take hours for it to fully digest because of the GLP-1 and also because of the process our bodies go through when breaking down solid foods. But if I have, let's say, a protein drink, it's pretty much already broken down and I digest it in less than an hour. I use protein as an example, but there are times I'll drink soda or dessert drinks to get in some carbs. All right, next is less high volume food and more calorie rich foods. High volume foods, again, like I mentioned earlier, are typically things with a lot of water content and fiber, like vegetables, but this can also include a lot of different fruits as well. Calorie rich foods are usually junk food like ice cream and potato chips. It's not always junk food, but it helps show you what I mean. These foods have more calories per bite, so when you're not trying to undereat, these come in handy. I don't restrict food, and I'm sure some people see this as unhealthy, but so is not eating enough and losing muscle and hair because of the lack of nutrients. There are healthier ways to get in calories, but I'm a foodie and GLP-1s help me eat all the foods I like without binge eating like a whole box of donuts. Okay, moving on to added flavors. Foods that taste good make them more appetizing to eat, which then means more calories. I usually add salt, spices, hot sauces, and lemon juice, but there are a lot of other low-calorie or calorie-free added flavors. I notice tasty foods help me eat more because plain and bland foods lower my appetite because they're boring. So spicing it up, no pun intended, helps me eat it. That being said, bland foods have their place, especially if you're dealing with nausea or stomach issues combined with low appetite. And to give you an example of added flavors, in this picture, I have soy sauce and hot sauce on my rice and chicken. Now, go-to or convenient foods. Knowing what to eat and having it ready makes it easier to eat it when you don't want to. Sometimes having a low appetite and not eating enough drains our energy, and the last thing we want to do is put an effort to cook up a meal. This is where convenient foods come in. I usually have protein drinks ready to go and crackers. I wouldn't consider these meals, but they help me eat food when I'm not hungry. I'll also have food ready to heat up in the microwave or eat cold, so I don't have to cook. Next is a longer eating window. I start eating earlier in the day and stop closer to bed because it gives me time to digest and eat more food throughout the day. For example, let's say during the day I have an 8-hour eating window versus 16. Digesting food takes time, so the 16-hour window helps me eat more food. This might not work for a lot of people because you might not have the choice to eat whenever you want, but if you can, this is something that has helped me a lot. And the last thing I do to eat with a low appetite is I have smaller and more frequent meals. Regular sized meals might be too much food for my stomach in one sitting, so if I break it up into smaller meals, then I can eat more throughout the day. And it becomes more manageable for me to eat enough. I used to eat around 3 to 4 regular sized meals per day, but after GLP-1, I would say I have around 5 to 7 meals, usually around 5. I remember one of my first meals was a salad from Chick-fil-A, and usually I eat it in one go, but I got so full after like 3 bites, I think I ate it for 1 or 2 meals after that. Now, I intentionally eat smaller meals so I don't have to deal with being overly full all the time. And that's it for the video. This is how I eat when I'm not hungry. I hope this helped. Thanks for watching. Bye.